Hi friends, today is election day in the US, and so because this election has been going on for so very long, I'm aware of some anxiety and some heaviness on my heart that I feel is very likely to be going on for many of you. And so I thought today's class could just be as sort of soothing and calming to that as possible. I wanted the class to feel like a soothing balm for our hearts. There's also a real life truth in that movement and breath work can really help to calm our nervous system, which is just going to help us to be more steady as we go through uncertain times. Even if today ends up being a totally different day on the calendar when you are watching this class or taking this class, I think our nervous systems can use that quite often. So we will move. This is a workout still. There's physicality here, but there will be some things about it that are very specific to bringing us a sense of calm and groundedness. So I hope you enjoy. The tools you'll need for class are, of course, a mat, your body, and a foam roller. If you'd like to bring lumbar support to class, you are welcome to. I'm going to use that today. So when you are ready, we'll begin. Once again, I'd like you to really allow yourself whatever it takes to find yourself in a very comfortable position. So prop your hips up a little bit, adjust your clothing and arrive. And then we'll let our hands come down and rest on our legs somewhere. And let that first sort of cue direct you into your body. We'll use our hands to feel the surface of our knees and thighs, or that loving guest or visitor coming over for a little affection, using touch to help our bodies come alive and our senses. And then as you are ready, you can let your hands settle and still somewhere that lets your shoulders be at ease, and then perhaps maybe even let your eyes drift closed if that feels comfortable to you, or just take a soft gaze and let your awareness move inward. And see if you can really remind your awareness that it doesn't need to be critical to be curious. We'll just sort of wonder and tune in to our experience in our inner body, our inner being, including the sensations of our breath and maybe the energy in our chest and behind the eyelids and the forehead. And start to take long, full inhales. And allow the exhale to happen slowly, softly, and repeat. You might remind yourself that your breath didn't need you to get involved in the first place. It was happening miraculously all on its own. But with our intention, we can look for that extra expansive quality, especially around our center, seeing if we can allow the softening of our abdominal wall, the softening of the base of the pelvic floor. So you can feel like the whole universe could open and expand from within you. And as we exhale, we're again just trying to find that quality of allowing things to be just as they are. Allowing the cells and molecules of our body vibrate with the life they already possess. And if any wonder and gratitude arises for these tiny miracles, you can let them infuse your experience. Drink them in, breathe them out. And when you're ready, we'll move our hands to our heart center so you can place one over the other. And press inward with a gesture of care. The way you would hold someone that needed to know that you were there, that you were there to support them. That inward directed care, again, can help our psyche and our nervous system to really settle and feel a bit more safe and a bit more cared for. And let's set an intention for our practice, the kind that just reminds us sort of what's possible for us to be present with our experience, to remember our heart as we get into some heady experiences, maybe listening to the news today, that this heart center is perhaps the best place to return to. And in your practice, trusting that your body has the answers, it has this wisdom. So we'll keep returning here. And then you can take your next breath in with a big arm circle. We can open the eyes, reach up to the sky, and then exhale, reach wide and down. And let's practice a few more reps of that with this inner and outer expansion. So we've got the breath helping us to feel like the universe expanding with each inhale. And then the exhale can be just like the sigh that says, I've done enough. And then again, breathe in. Let's pause at the top, interlace the fingers, press the palms up. Let there be a stretch to your fingers, your wrists, your shoulders, your forearms, wherever you feel that. And then lengthen it a little bit more in one direction. And then the other. And then reach up and release. And we're gonna just carefully come off of the roller or onto the roller, depending on how you look at it. I'm gonna change positions, set the roller up lengthwise on the mat, and then have a seat once again, but in a new location at the very front end. We're gonna lie down. We're gonna take our time. We're going to get centered, and we're going to allow gravity to take us down, down, down into the earth. So step your feet however wide you want to go, and then let your arms fall onto the floor somewhere off to the sides of the body. And then take your awareness down the length of your spine and find all the places you touch down on the roller. Notice the spaces that we are not in contact. And then I want you to massage side to side, just rocking and rolling your whole being left to right over the roller, and kind of massaging both sides of the spine, and also kind of helping to guide the roller once and for all back to the center. So there's a real nice channel between the two halves of your pelvis, between the two halves of your rib cage, and then right along the center of your skull. And we're gonna see if we can arrive there once we're ready. And then we're gonna let the pelvis do a little bit of movement to help find our low waist in a good position. So 12 and 6, and you're gonna do that with your breath. You can inhale to 6, exhale to 12. If there's any amount of movement that doesn't feel good, then just stay a little bit smaller. Stay in the comfort zone. And we'll take our challenges elsewhere, not here on the roller. And I want you to find that position that feels like a little stretch for your low back. And then once you've found that, let go of the effort and see if we could just settle and feel a little more ease between the rib cage and the pelvis. That space in the low back doesn't have to be imprinted, but we do want it to feel like it's not super high arch. And then from there, we're gonna start to breathe. We'll inhale and sweep the arms overhead. And exhale, circle them back down by your sides. And continue. Long, full, expansive breaths in. And softening, settling, surrendering back to your sides with the arms and the exhale. Surrender is only a good idea when you know you are held by friendly, supportive structures. And so here, just like to remind you that you are resting on the earth. Gravity and this wonderful, vast planet are drawing you down and into them. And there is this really nice sort of security in that, and seeing if you can surrender to gravity. Had this bond, this relationship since before you were born. And because of this relationship, your bones grow strong and your spine arises into a really beautiful, upright, aligned posture in response to gravity. And our feet are strong and active in response to gravity. And so we're just gonna let gravity take us right here and slow down your movement wherever there is a lovely thing to be experienced, where the stretch gets the sweetest. And see if while you are trusting or practicing letting go or surrendering here, if that allows you to feel a little more soft and open around your heart center. Perhaps letting some of your guards down, your layers of protection, letting them soften so there can be a little bit more of that hum and vibration of your inner being exposed to the world. And then let's take the arms through a reach up through the sky. And then starting as they fall back behind you, see if you can ground your low ribs as the arms float back. While the ribs are heavy, our heart is still open. And then we're going to bend the elbows and let them travel around the body, back to our sides, and repeat. Inhale, the arms come up. Exhale, heavy through the low ribs. Heart spreading wide, almost like hot lava melting over your body and oozing down over your limbs to your fingertips and onto the floor. And this magma is just so warm and dissolving of effort and tension and fear. And we'll let a couple more soften us, tenderize us, and give us a fresh, new openness. And then we'll land the fingertips and the palms and the elbows down. And then let's just pause, breathe. I'm gonna have you walk your feet in a little bit so that they come towards parallel aligned with your hips. And we're gonna just start to find our core here. So there is a role that we play while we surrender to the earth. We can then use our power to do things. So we're gonna start with our breath, and on each exhale, I want you to feel your center get a little stronger, just a little more ready for action. And we'll take a few more breaths to kind of just recognize that power. The inhale can expand, and then the exhale feels your whole sort of low waist cinching in, not from the outside, but from the inside, like that sort of opposite reverse expansion. The next time you start your exhale, once you've begun to feel that power, feel the power hold you steady while you peel one foot off of the mat and bring that leg into a bent knee tabletop and lower it down. And from that strong center, again, we find our heart is still open. We have a groundedness, one foot on the ground, our palms, our shoulders actively seeking down, using that engagement down into the earth to give us the power. and the steadiness to march and move. And this isn't the hardest thing you've done, but you can sense how it still is complex, and it gives us opportunities to practice things like both and, where our body can feel sturdy and strong, but it doesn't have to feel rigid and aggressive, or our walls or guardrails don't have to be up super high. Our hearts can remain open as we take on this challenge. And now let's find that balance to both sides. And we'll take our time sliding off of the roller and let it move out of our way so we can occupy the center of the mat. And then we'll take our roller underneath the knees and right up underneath the hips. Once your hips are elevated, you can bring your knees in to your chest. And we're gonna definitely stay here a few moments, so let your body settle. Let the weight of your legs help to curl you into that fetal position. That does, even in this moment in our adult lives, can feel pretty calming and soothing to curl into a little ball. And this breath that we have can help to expand us in the ways that our modern lifestyle kind of needs us to loosen up. The muscles around the ribs, the muscles around the low back. And then we'll take both hands to the left knee and lengthen the right leg out and over the mat. We're stretching our hip flexors, as you know, and then included in that is our psoas. And our psoas has a lot of people very interested in this muscle, and there are many that believe that it is very tied to our fight or flight response in our body to fear or anxiety and stress. And so just by being in a stretch like this, we have the potential to help further unwind some of the holding that might have crept into our bodies as we sort of ready ourselves for what's ahead, the unknown. Let's start to move now, bending the right knee, and we're going to bicycle that right leg so we get that psoas muscle and the other hip flexors to stretch, lengthen, and then connect and draw in a way that is super friendly, but helps to lubricate all the muscles and the layers of fascia that surround them, including the hip joint. There's synovial fluid in our joints that needs movement to help flush out any old and stale components, and also to draw in the new nourishment. And so we move, and then we bring the knees in. We will pause, take our hands to the right knee, lengthen the left leg out, and stretch it down and away. And float it up, and reach, and stretch. And I'm going to let us do our hold at the end on this side. Let your breath continue to flow while you're aware of it. It doesn't hurt to go for the big, expansive breath in and the long, luxurious breath out. And then let's take this next one and let it be the long, static hold. Just letting gravity, again, do its wonderful work. We are not completely passive. We are holding that knee in close. Our shoulders are pulling back into the mat. Again, thinking about using the ground to give us this base to move from. And then, with that strong connection, we can really let that left leg go. And notice, if you can, if there's a little bit more softening still available to us, because strangely, you can feel like you're as let go as you could be, and then every once in a while discover, oh, there's a whole level more that I could release. The layers upon layers. And then we'll just slide the foot and knee in and pause. Let's take our hands to the roller, and we're gonna let our legs stretch out, and first we'll open to the sides, point and flex the feet, and circle the ankles. Saying hello to those extremities off in the distance, and then draw the legs together and flex and point the feet. Let's try to keep the feet right together. And if there's not a way for that to happen due to some leg and knee alignment, keep them super parallel, and imagine you're holding a little ball between your heels and the balls of your feet, sides of your big toe mound. And then let's point and then raise the legs up and overhead, and then send them down and repeat. Here your core is going to be your ally again. See if your breath can help you find that steady center. And then from that steadiness, let's reach out to the sides on our return. And see if there's some extra softening available as your legs fall out to the sides, and again. We will reverse when you are ready at next at the top. And now our circle begins with an opening, and I want you to find your core and your breath as the force that gathers you back together, pulling you back in towards a powerful center. 2 more. 1 more. Bend the knees. Let's land our feet down, and then we'll take our roller up from under the hips, and I think we'll just walk the feet onto the roller, and then just bend and straighten the knees a few times, letting your hips again get that joint movement, and your core feel invited to steady us while we play with movement away from center. And then take your knees turned out and do several with the knees swinging wide. And then bring your knees in, and we'll step the feet down from the roller. And let's take the hands around to the back of the head. We'll take the elbows slightly forward. And then take another few breaths. And on your next exhale, you're going to just take your more casual roll up into your upper abdominal curl and roll back down. And then curl up and hold. And see if you can find in that moment this place where your elbows are still, they're forward of your body, but they're still reaching wide. And the span of your elbows from elbow to elbow wraps around the back of your rib cage and lifts your rib cage higher. And you can let your heart sort of settle back into that sling that's created by the arms and the shoulder blades, and feel supported, like that soft surrender, even as we reach through the elbows, letting the heart rest and open and sort of shine upward and outward. And then let's tip the pelvis towards 12 o'clock and sink the bottom ribs a little bit more, and float one knee and lower it down, and float the other and lower it down. Here again, find the groundedness of the back of your body to give you the strength and steadiness to work while your heart remains open, remains permeable. And then we'll march one and march the other. Keep them both up and look for that same challenge on the way down. Stay grounded. Heart open. Land one, land the other, and rest down. Let's find our feet again on the roller, and we're going to take some bridges. We'll place our feet in parallel, and then take a few 12 and 6. And use your breath to help make this get a little juicier. And then next time you exhale, take it all the way up. Find your baby bridge, keep the baby bridge, peel it up, breathe at the top. Use that same strategy on the way down. Breathe in. And again. One more. And then rolling it down. We're going to bring the hands to the back of the head. Take another breath, elbows forward, heart open. And we curl the tail under and bridge up. Maybe not quite as high. As soon as you begin your bridging down, we're going to nod the chin and roll up with the upper body. Stay in your baby bridge. Press into the feet, roll up. And sink the bottom ribs, roll down again. We are rocking through the back of our body. We are staying curved the whole time. The force that moves us is our legs. And again. When you land next, pause and reach the legs out long. Bend them in. One more. And then lower everything, bring the legs in. We're going to take the arms up to the sky, heavy through the rib cage as you reach back. And then we're going to roll all the way up, reaching forward, nodding the chin and rounding. From here, if you'd like to, position that lumbar support. That's the moment I was planning on using it. Reach forward and then roll back. Bend the knees as you roll through your low back and reach back. We'll do that again. And again. We'll do about maybe 5 more. And rather than cueing a lot of our form, let's direct our attention into our breath, into what's challenging and where our strength comes from. So finding the ground, pressing into the ground in ways that are not as obvious as with our hands or our feet, although our feet can press into the roller, but rather through our spine, vertebra by vertebra, deepening our connection inward on our exhale. And finding the possibility of an openness in the heart even as we get into some serious work. Two more. And one more, we'll finish at the top. Stay and stretch. Perhaps finding your feet or your roller, dropping your chin onto your chest. gazing inward, and then rising up. Let's climb off of the roller, and we're going to move into a all fours position. We are going to set up so our hands begin on the roller, and we'll begin in our cat-cow. So we can curl the head and tail under, drawing the bottom ribs back, and then reach the chest forward and swing the sit bones up, and then repeat. And again. This time we'll round and stay rounded and roll the roller away. Let it move out, create a big stretch like a slinky being stretched long from hands to sit bones, and then roll it back and repeat. Massaging the energy in your heart center, in your gut, where often we get the signals that we are uncertain. It's our response to that unknowing. So we're gonna let this energy churn, flow in and out with our breath. Sort of a complete changeover. So nothing that was is exactly as it was when you're done. And then we'll pause at the top. We're going to swing our left foot forward onto the roller and set your toes on the roller so your heel remains off, and then bringing some weight into it and try to sink that heel down as deep into a stretch as it can. For our calf, our foot, our soleus, our Achilles, we lean over the roller. And then we're going to roll the foot forward and let it go around the roller, come around the back of the heel into the calf. And we can stay exactly there, or we can continue forward depending on our flexibility. What we'll do here is turn the knee side to side, massaging the calf and moving that thigh all the way up at the hip joint, and then roll it back, taking the foot onto the roller again. Pause in your calf stretch. Maybe it feels a little different after our massage, after our stretch, and then we can climb off and switch sides. And then begin again, leaning over that front foot and just staying and breathing. Letting this awareness of the stretch deepen with a little bit of time and softening. And then feel the whole underside of your foot as you roll over the roller. Feel the heel, the back of the heel, and the Achilles and the calf. Pause in that moment that feels like your max. See if the shoulders can come down. See if the heart can open a little bit more fully. And then roll your leg on the roller side to side. And then back it up. Over the heel, over the underside of the foot, to the ball of the foot, the toes, and again sink into that stretch. And gently come down. We'll slide out onto our tummy on the mat with the roller at the head. Let it rest for a moment while we just take care of our quads. We're going to place our hands under the forehead. Reach back with the left hand. Find that left ankle and stretch, pressing your hips down. All the while feeling the ground supporting us taking comfort in this opportunity to face the earth and be nurtured, held, protected, allowed to rest. And then let's use a little kick into the hands, broaden the chest, and draw the left shoulder back, lower down, and release. Second side. Begin with a connection and then sink the hips down, looking for more of that grounded energy. And again, turning towards the earth, turning towards that comfort, like turning towards your mother and being held, allowing that to feel as comforting as it can be. And then gently release. Kick your foot into your hand, let it give us that opening, lift our hearts, and then release. We take our hands onto the roller now, and let's start with the roller near the elbow, between the elbow and the wrist. Stretch out, reach through your toes, reach through the crown of the head, press your hips down, use that grounded energy to create a safe space to lift. You'll lower back down. Again, your hips ground and your heart can rise. And you might find a few different qualities here. If you use the roller pressing down, you're grounding there. That's also going to give your heart more space to lift. If your shoulders like that, take a few more. And you can also find sometimes if you have a light touch on the rollers, there's even more energy to rise. So it could be either or both, depending on where we're at in our bodies in our day. But we'll do 5, 6 more. Moving at your own pace, letting your breath be your guide. Use your powerful glutes. Smash down into the earth. And then finish when you are ready. We'll take the hands under the chest, pushing up and back. And let's move into a child's pose, starting with the knees together. Let your hands lengthen out overhead and your body settle. And again, we move into that fetal position that allows us to sort of go inward rather than meeting the outer world with our whole being, letting ourselves recover, rest, and restore. And then we'll slide the hands in and come forward to all fours. Hands wide. We're going to sink and rise through the chest a few times, letting the standing arms feel their power. And then pushing into the mat, lifting the rib cage, push into the left hand, reach up through the right. And we're going to thread the needle, bring the right hand all the way under and lower and rest down. Head, shoulder, grounding, even listening. And then we push into the ground to lift up, using its power, and then circle that hand back to the mat. Push with the right, lift with the left, turn in openness, and then thread the needle. Slide into your stretch, let the head and shoulder rest down, and stay and breathe. Feeling your many points in contact. Feeling your breath expand you from within. Then we push into the ground. Lift all the way up and circle that hand back to the mat. Let's take the hands a little further forward and let's take the sit bones up to the sky. Stretching the back of the legs and the spine. Sending your heels towards the mat and your hands find a fullness, a full sort of grab on the earth. And then we're gonna curl the tail under, roll forward to plank and hold. And again, feel the steadiness underneath us. And our own quivering and quaking life. And then lower the knees down, take the hips back and drop into that child's pose again. This time we're gonna curl the tail under, keep rounding and roll forward until we kind of unfurl into a kneeling plank and then a little mini swan, heart forward, and then draw the sit bones back. Let your breath roll through you and send you forward. And then inhale, draw you back. And again. Let's do that 2-3 more times. And feel the fluid quality of our breath. And then the fluid quality of our consciousness as it flows like a fountain, just arising out of the spout. A gentle fountain just arising, that consciousness just arising, continuous, fresh. And then we'll bring our sit bones back, toes tucked under once again. Hover the hips up and back, find your downward dog. We're gonna roll forward into plank again. And then inhale, fold and reach back. Exhale, curl and roll. Inhale, reach back. One more time. Lower the knees. And then we're going to take the right foot back. And then swing it over to the left. And gaze back over the left shoulder. And then stretch the spine out long. Pivot on your left knee. And we're going to come into a side stretch or side kind of plank modified. Taking your top arm overhead, we're going to hover the right foot. So we've got hand and foot off the mat, and we're going to exhale and gather in. Inhale, stretch out. Exhale. Inhale. Here again, we find ourselves in a place where there is some challenge and some freedom too. So feel the strength of your connection to the ground. Give you the freedom to move through your arm and leg and spine. One more stretch out. Take the foot down. Use your hand reaching overhead to help create even more length on that right side. And then we'll just swing the hand back to the mat. Reset. Left leg stretches back. It hops to the right. We gaze over the right shoulder. Breathe. And then moving back to and through center, we'll pivot on the knee and reach the left arm up to the sky and then overhead. And then we hover the left leg. Breathe in, and on the exhale, gather it in. Inhale, stretch out. Feel your might and your aliveness all at once. Two more. And one more. Reach it long. Finish with a stretch. Push down through the right arm to lift the rib cage up high. And then circle it all back to the mat. We're going to come to seated. And in a Z-sit position. And let's take our roller to the outside of our shin that's folded back. For me, I'm gonna call that my left leg. We'll take the left hand to the roller and right arm overhead and let the roller help just give us that support, the transport into this lovely stretch that lets us know we're still not alone. There's some holding and biting a little deeper because we can lean into that support. And then we'll take this to the top. We're going to use the roller in a few different positions. We're going to move to a diagonal. So we've got the roller coming off the left knee. On a diagonal, we're going to twist. And we're going to round forward and rise up. And just go as far as you're able without forcing anything. And see what there is to be softened, where there's interesting sensations or resistance. Stay well away from forcing and creating any discomfort or pain. And one more. And then back to the top. We'll hop the roller straight out in front. And lift up tall and follow the roller forward. And with this moving support, we can have strength in motion. We can have softness in motion. And again. And at the top, we can go once more to the left compared to the right. And we go out over the right knee this time. And let's do that with a round back on the way out. And then reach the chest forward and rise up in a swan. Nod the chin round like you're diving into the water. And then inhale, you're rising up, heart first. Again, round and dive. Inhale to rise. And we'll finish on that one. We'll take the legs in the other direction and leave the roller in. Directly out to our right. Left arm reaching, and we side bend. And again, let your breath be your invitation into your body, into your experience, whether you're inhaling or exhaling on this direction or that direction. So you can feel all the sensations of your stretch more fully through the lens of your breath, and invite perhaps a little bit more fluid movement, less holding, less bracing, and then pause at the top, coming over to the diagonal over the right knee, lifting up, we'll round, let it be limited, and just wonder about those edges where there might be some room for some care, the kind that might help us to move a little more freely, whether it's massage, stretch, a deep breath in. I recently invested in some better ergonomics for my office space because I spend more time there, and just reminded that that the way we spend our time is how we practice, even if we're not consciously practicing. And so just investing in a good, healthy, full life with whatever it takes. Pause at the top, move to the center, and lift up tall. And we round directly out through the center into what could feel a bit like a figure 4 stretch for that left hip. Definitely feeling that, and some stuff in the shoulders and lats. And then again, an invitation and reminder to come back into your heart and feel the undulating of your body like a dance in honor of this life and this lifelong relationship to the earth and the community that dwells on the earth. We are all here together. We are all in this together. And then at the top, we pause and take that last diagonal over the left knee. Let this one go big. It tends to be accessible. Really lengthen out. Stretch on the inhale. And reverse. And then as we did, we'll dive into the exhale. And then heart forward, rise up on the inhale. The, again, undulating life, sort of life wave of the body, of the breath, the rivers and the ocean move with the currents. And then we'll bring ourselves up and pause. Take the roller to that left side, and then let's turn one more time towards it. We'll take the roller and set it on its end, optional, and then we'll take our left foot forward, drop the left sit bone, and lunge into a place that feels good and stretchy through the right hip. And then we're gonna back off a little bit, take the toes tucked under, and rise up into a full lunge or high lunge. And then you can take your hands from the roller or keep them there. If you feel comfortable, I'm gonna have you try bringing your hands both forward and then making a fist with your left hand and pull back on that fist as if you're stretching a bow. Reach forward on the right. As your elbow comes back, start to unwind that left hand and turn to the left and open your hand, palms both wide. Spinning towards the left, keeping your left knee pressing in. Right hip spiraling forward. And then circle the hand to the front. And we'll lower the right knee down. Step the left foot back. Adjust the roller. Right knee forward, right foot forward. Drop that sit bone and lunge. First into a kneeling stretch. Left hip flexor, quads, all of that. And then we'll back up. Take the toes tucked under and hover the knee. Adjust into your stretchy full lunge. And then we'll again practice some movement here, bringing your hands out in front. Feel for a moment before you go the steadiness of your base, your connection to the earth. You're a warrior, ready for action. You're gonna pull back on your bow and really turn and open your heart to the right. Strong warrior with a strong heart. Reach the right arm back. Power in action with this openness, this groundedness, this energy of the fullness of your life. And then we'll sweep the arm back to the front. Lower the knee down. Step both knees back. Lay the roller across the mat. And then we're going to take it right in close to the knees. Holding it with your hands. If this doesn't work for you, you can place your hands on the mat. We're going to take the hips up and step into a forward fold. Let your hands hold the roller, but relax. Let your head be heavy and your knees softly bend or straight, whatever gets you the most confident, comfortable, upside down stretch. And then turn your head gently side to side and really look around you, the difference in the world when you just change your perspective. And then soften the knees and start to stretch the legs towards straight on your exhale and the arms towards straight, so you're coming into that sort of human bobby pin shape. Really lifting up on the middle, staying grounded, but creating space between the hands and the feet, and the thighs and the arms, the ribs and the floor. Grounded with space. And then soften the knees and we'll pick the roller up and roll up to standing. At the top, roll the shoulders back. We're gonna walk the roller around to the back of the body and press it into this sacrum, so it's really low on the spine, and then bend the elbows, and we'll let the shoulders shrug back. The biceps and the triceps feel a little connected, a little turned on. And again, feel your base. Find your feet on the ground. Feel the steadiness. And let the heart continue to open and open and remain open while there is plenty to do and plenty to endure. This strength within and this openness, this vastness of our hearts is where we will have the most power and security. Let's bring the roller down to the mat. Set it off to the side. And let's take our feet into a comfortable parallel. Lift your toes, wiggle them, stretch them out. Let them remember themselves in the ground, that common connection downward. And then the big sweeping arm circle that drinks in your environment, the wholeness of this moment, brings the palms together, and then let the hands slide gently, just ever so softly, down to the heart, where we'll let our eyes gently drift closed if that's comfortable for you. And just stay for a moment in remembrance of your power and your ally, the earth, and this beautiful, sacred, open heart of yours. All right. Thank you, ladies. All right. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that your heart feels open and tender and you feel safe and grounded at the same time. And I hope that you'll come back and see me soon. Let's just know that we can connect at any time. You can reach me through my website at arwenbrooke.com. You can follow me on Instagram at arwenbrooke_Pilates, and you can also direct message me there. And in the meantime, have a beautiful day. And may we all remember that we're in